Oh, welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's the Wildcard review show. I'm Chris Pajak. Stay Hall returns. Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah. The first week of the playoffs, I was with child. First weekend only, so not literally. Actually, to be fair, it was, yeah. So it's been fun and games. I was up late anyway, so I might as well...
Bonus.
2 birds, 1 stone.
American footy with the kid on the lap is a standard of being a parent.
Anyone who's had, any NFL fan around our age might have been in similar boats before, yeah. So ours was a nice feat.
It's how I was weaned on the NFL. Yeah. My dad was a Redskins fan, is a Redskins fan, and you know, NFL in the 80s was just starting on channel, whatever it was. Was it 4? Yeah. So yeah, that's how I was weaned onto it.
Maybe little Jessica might be an NFL fan.
Get her to be a kicker, it's what I've always said.
Having said this, the first game she ever watched was Bills Jags, so she actually hates it now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But we are going to start in chronological order. We're going to start with the Titans at the Chiefs. Real big upset. You know, I was looking around before the game itself. Obviously, I'd picked the Chiefs for this one. I'm sure you probably did exactly the same. I think you'd be nuts to pick the Titans, to be fair. And I was on one website, and there was like 15 pros all picked the Chiefs. It was the only game of the wildcards where every single pro all picked the Chiefs. And you're thinking, wow, I mean, upset, massive upset.
Yeah, especially
and the manner in which it was done.
I was say at 21-3 down, I put a tweet out saying like, how these clowns in the playoffs, this Titans team is just awful. Like, what are you doing? The sooner they're out, the better. They need a new coach, blah blah blah. And you know, 19 unanswered points later, sorry, and they're going to Foxborough. So it
started so badly for them as well.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs got off to a flyer. You know, I say it was a. You know, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, and then I think it was Robinson, and obviously there's a field goal in the middle. And it's 21-3, and you're thinking game over. This is the game. I think a lot changes when Travis Kelce goes off.
Well, Robinson gets a touchdown, in fairness, but the game
itself goes down. Tyreek Hill has 3 drops. It just got sloppy, and the Titans just kept on playing and doing, playing. The Titans look better when they go away from their own game plan. Their game plan is this run the ball nonsense, blah blah blah. When they go spread, quick offense, up tempo with Mariota, they're a much better team. So why they don't just make that their offense going forward? In fact, they should, and it's why I thought Mike Mularkey would get fired or should get fired. Now
he's defo back.
Now he's in the divisional round. They said they were going to bring him back, but I hope they learn from it. You don't need Marcus Mariota to be in a pocket pass under centre. That's not who he is. It's not what you don't draft him at number 2 because of that's who he is. He's a mobile quarterback. He is a good thrower. But get him on the move, get the run game, get him spread out in an offense. You know, he grew up in the Oregon offense, which is essentially a spread offense anyway. And when they got to that, they were just a much better team. Derrick Henry looked a bit more comfortable and started running it. And in the end, the Chiefs just looked like the poor of the two teams, and that was never the case.
I got 4-1 on Derrick Henry rushing for 40 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it was the easiest £20 bet I've made.
156 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, what was that? 4-1 for that? I was all day, thank you. I put 20 quid on it. I was like, thank you very much. That's a piece of piss. I'll be taking your money there. Like, yeah. But you know, let's talk about it a little bit in order then. I've got to admit, I was a little bit worried about the Titans' defence, obviously, first and foremost. You know, that defence comes out. Dick LeBeau, I don't think he's past it. We've had conversations. I think Geno thinks that he's past it, if I remember correctly. It looked like he was past it in those first 3 drives or first 6 drives or whatever it was when they conceded those 21 points, because all he had was the blitz. And you're thinking, blitz again. Oh, blitz again. Oh, guess what? Another blitz. And Alex Smith's been around a long time now, whether you rate him or not. The longer you're around the NFL, the better you seem to get against the blitz. Yeah. And he was just eating it up all day, and Hill was finding himself free. Obviously, Kelce was finding himself free and stuff. Something changed. What was it for you?
I think it was the Kelce injury. You know, I think that was the main issue, the main thing. He's
a matchup nightmare,
and he's a blitz beater as well, because he just dumped it over the middle to Travis Kelce. And Tyreek Hill dropped 3 catches. Like, if he catches, the game's probably different. The field goal kicker, who's been reliable, what's his name, Booker,
misses a 48-yarder,
a field goal, and then the Titans get a huge slice of luck when Marcus Mariota throws a touchdown to Marcus Mariota.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so. A little bit of luck goes against him.
Great catch.
It was heads up to know that he can score off it. A lot of quarterbacks just bat that down and take the play. He catches and scores. Heads up
and
play.
Heads to the pylon. It was incredible, like.
Really good. So that's a bit unlucky. You know what I mean? If Revis manages to get that down on the floor or catch it, it's game over, because it was a pretty poor throw. So they get a little bit of luck, I say, Tennessee, but And then they just milked the clock. So even when they were trailing, they were milking the clock. So that when they got it, they must have been, they were confident they were going to score. Decker gets the touchdown pass, and there's no time. There's very little time left on the clock.
It's a great throw as well by Mariota. That over down the seam, absolutely brilliant pass and catch there from those two.
They were. Mariota has had a good season, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's in an offense that doesn't suit him, and that's what I'm saying. When the offense suited them and they went a bit more up tempo, or they were a little bit more spread, he just looks so much better. His weapons aren't particularly great. You know, Decker's probably past it. Delaney Walker's decent, but not outstanding. He's good. He's pretty good. There's not that much there. Henry struggled at times as well.
Yeah, he has.
He's injured. So, but in the end, you know, when you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance. And even when you're 21-3 down and you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance. And the Titans have a quarterback. They've got a franchise quarterback.
Okay. What's Andy Reid's legacy going to be like after this game?
He's a very, very good coach. There's talk of getting rid of him. Any team without a coach now, he'd be number one on their list. Unfortunately, for all the great work he's done, he's going to be remembered as the guy who can't manage a clock and the guy whose team has blown to massive playoff lead. So it was like 25 points against the Colts a couple of seasons ago, and now 18 points against a poor Titans team at home. That's probably what he's going to, unfortunately for him, that's what he's going to remember.
This game could have been so much different as well. If you think back to that, I think it was in the first quarter. I think they'd just gone 14-0 up the Kansas City Chiefs. Derrick Henry fumbles the ball, and it bounces out. It goes out of bounds, and you think to yourself, if that had just gone slightly differently, you know, Kansas City, I think it was Pierre-Louis, what's his name, for the Kansas City Chiefs. If he'd have picked that up, that game, it's done. Yeah. Like there's no coming back from that, because that's like 40 yards away from the Kansas City Chiefs. Such a game changer.
I don't think the refs were any good in this game. I thought it was poorly officiated. So they called Marcus Mariota twice on forward progress when he was going backwards. So he was getting sacked, and in the act of the sack, they blow the whistle, and then he fumbles it, and that happened twice.
One of them was on a 2-point conversion.
But even then, that's still a big play. You know, they lost by 1 point. So that's
the ball pops out.
Yeah, and
so you know you can return that for two.
But they blew him dead, and they blew him dead on the sack, which I think was a terrible decision. At the end, I thought he'd done some, you know, where Marcus Peters makes a ridiculously good play, but that was down. That was the right call when on that one. But
where did you feel on the? Did you think that Mariota was behind the line of scrimmage on his own touchdown pass?
It was borderline, but I think
I didn't think he was.
It looked like he was on the line to me. It
looked like his foot and his arm went past it, and his arm with the ball in his hand looked to me like he went past it.
I think it's where your feet are. I think that's what counts, and it was close.
His foot was over it.
Yeah.
If the line's right, that's the thing, I suppose, isn't it?
You're looking at the TV line, so obviously they review it. I think when it's borderline close, they just err on the side of. Well, you have to. That's what they should do. Replay at the minute has gone too far the other way, where they're overturning calls too many calls. I think you can kind of accept that one. I thought the two plays where he got sacked were legitimate sacks. I thought that was poor officiating, and that ref's retiring, isn't he? So obviously, you know, he's not too happy with his performance in general. I thought, having said that, listen, you're 21-3 up at home. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing the Patriots. I don't care if you're playing the Chiefs. I don't care if you're playing the Steelers, Packers, whoever. You don't lose. You shouldn't ever lose from that position. That's a terrible look. You let another team come into your building in the third quarter and go touchdown. You
don't deserve to go any further, and that's right. And listen, if you let a quarterback complete 19 of 31 for 205 yards with 2 touchdowns, you let him run 8 times for 46, and you let him pass it to himself for a touchdown, you deserve to fucking lose the game.
On him as well, his block at the end.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
He just
second time in 2 weeks he's done a physical play like that.
He had to stiff arm, didn't he, in the Jags game? Yeah. Listen. That wins the game. That milks the clock. Because if they get the stop,
listen, it wins his fucking teammates over.
For sure. But that's the game done. As soon as Derrick Henry makes that first, it's game over. You know, that literally done. So fair play to him. Like he's really good. Like I say, when you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance. So
I just don't think he's good enough, mate. And you said before he's a franchise quarterback. He is, but I don't think he should be.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think he is. I think he's really poorly coached. You build an offense that doesn't suit your quarterback. When you get your offense should be tailored. Everything should be to do with that guy, and theirs isn't. But they're probably going to get whacked when you go to New England, but we'll soon see.
Okay, we'll move on then. We big surprise of the weekend, I suppose. Another big surprise from this weekend was the Atlanta Falcons beating the Rams. Rams just one touchdown on the day, and you know, this is a team averaging 30-odd points before they came into this game. This is an offense that's been flying with Jared Goff, with Todd Gurley, and Gurley, for the most part, was completely shut down. Like, you know, I know he gets 100 yards, but he wasn't the factor that he's been in the last few games.
No, I was surprised he didn't use the screen game more. I think only 4 catches. I thought you'd have seen double that.
For 10 yards.
Yeah, I thought you'd have seen double that. Obviously, especially against the Atlanta linebackers who are undersized, they're fast, they're really fast. And I always think the best way to play against fast linebackers is the screen game, just to slow them down a bit. But for some reason, the Rams decided that wasn't for them. This game, for me, it turns out there's two special teams fumbles. Well, one's
Well, I don't think one's... He was getting the blame.
The guy who hit his foot.
Cooper?
On the second one.
And you're thinking... And the commentators just kept going on and on and on. It's like, that's not his fault.
It's
the fucking... The other
guy's... He's
passed it to him. He's passed it. Proper football style. Kicked it to him.
Yeah.
And he has to try and make a play on the ball.
Yeah, that's impossible. That wasn't on him. The other one was.
But then he made up for it, mate. He was averaging maybe 10, 15 yards a return after that.
He's the Pro Bowl returner, but playoff games turn on small margins, and the Rams, who had the best special teams in the league all season, it shits the bed in the playoffs. You know, that's what can happen with young teams. Sometimes this happens, and I'm never one for the cliches or the emotional stuff, but to me it looked like a team who'd been there before against a team who hadn't been there before, and that's what it looked like. It looked like Atlanta with a savvy veteran, you know, like in a boxing match, standing behind the jab and just doing what needs to be done.
MVP of the game?
Well, Bryant is the kick.
It's absolutely got to be, because you know that one just before half time. What is it? 54 yards, 56 yards, 58 yards, something like that.
He scores 29, 51. 25, 54. So
that 54-yarder, sorry, it's right at the end of the third quarter. Yeah. It's a completely different game. Yeah. If he misses that, there's field position for them and everything. And he was just outstanding all game.
Yeah, he was. He's, old guys kicking well still. And the Falcons were... The offense wasn't brilliant, I don't think. It was a bit stop-starty. Especially when you got near the red zone, there's a reason that or third down, there's a reason why they're kicking 54, 4-yard field goals and 4 field goals in total, but they just did enough. Fair play to Matt Ryan. That throw to Julio Jones when he's fallen down on a slippy turf, that's a big time throw. And he just done enough, because Jared Goff and the Rams offense couldn't get anything going.
It was the Atlanta Falcons defense. They showed up, they snuck in towards the end of the season into the top 10 Ds in the league. And they're performing like that as well. They're a legitimate defence. They're fucking brilliant, and they matched up really well with that Rams side, and that's what surprised me most, is how well they matched up.
They were really, really fast. I wonder if it looks slippy. I know a lot of people slipping. I wonder if that's why they didn't have Gurley on the screens much. They were worried about the turf and couldn't make his cuts and stuff. But I thought the Rams' game plan just played into their hands. Two very good corners in Alford and Desmond Trufant, sorry, his name before that. Very quick linebacker, Deion Jones, probably the fastest linebacker in the league. And they've got a pretty good pass rush, Grady Jarrett, especially Vic Beasley as well.
Trufant was incredible on the day. Yeah, he's absolutely incredible.
And Alford, they both were. And like I say, I just thought, I can't believe having rode Todd Gurley to the playoffs, it's not him again.
But that's exactly what the Falcons had to do before the game started. You have to put the ball in Goff's hands and say, you fucking beat us. That's what the Vikings did. Yeah. They scored 7 points against us a few weeks back because we put the ball in Goff's hands and said, go and beat us, and he wasn't good enough.
No, I'm with you. They stacked the box, didn't they? There was often 8-man boxes and stuff. And in that situation, you'd expect Goff to be able to find Watkins or Cup or Woods. And to be fair...
Was it the second quarter, maybe the third quarter before Watkins even had the reception?
I thought Woods was outstanding, to be fair. I thought Woods was really, really good, 140 yards. But
he had a big drop.
A huge drop.
A key
and
drop.
That's the thing. It was just like the little sloppy errors here and there. Todd Gurley slipping when looks like he's going to be on a big run and stuff. It was just... And like I say, 2 special teams fumbles. And the savvy Falcons just kept plugging away. Not fantastic, not brilliant. Devontae Freeman runs for 60 yards. Matt Ryan throws for 200 yards. It's not vintage last year Falcons, but it didn't need to be. because they trust their defence.
Listen, they've got an offence that is good enough to win games, and they've got a defence that's won that game on its own. Almost.
And now they go to Philly where they're the favourites.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. They'll be. Listen, we'll talk about it on the next game, next show.
They're more balanced than they were. I think a few weeks ago. I thought they were done. I thought the offence was pretty poor and the defence looked a bit rubbish. And to be fair, they've been in playoff mode. I think I was saying this for about 4 weeks, and maybe that helped. The Rams rested their starters and then had a week off, and maybe it was a little bit of rustiness, a bit of not being used to it. Like I say, the Falcons have been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and that's what it looked like to me. And in the end, I thought the Falcons were in control from minute one. As soon as I think once the Freeman
in the game, mate.
When the Freeman touchdown makes it 13-0, I thought that's pretty much it, and it kind of was.
Yeah, okay. So we'll move on then. The Bills were defeated by the Jaguars in Jacksonville by 3 points to 10. Not the most exciting game of football for a Sunday evening, our time of course. This game lost its edge for me because Shady McCoy wasn't 100%, and you could fucking tell he wasn't 100%.
Yeah, it's a shame, wasn't it?
It is, because listen, Tyrod Taylor, he's been okay this season, but that offense is built around Shady McCoy, and I hate seeing sports people in any fucking sport around the world fight so hard to get somewhere and not be able to perform the best. The biggest example is original Ronaldo at the World Cup final. Do you know what I mean? Like when they fought their entire life to get somewhere and they're not able to perform. It's horrible to watch.
Without him, they were just nothing. I've been saying for ages, Tyrell Taylor's not good. He can't throw very particularly well. His anticipation is zero. He has to be see guy open, throw guy, rather than throw a guy open. And against the average defence, he struggles. So against one of the best defences that I've seen for a long time, he had no chance. And on the other side, the other guy playing quarterback was absolute garbage as well. And that's why it was 3-10. It was two pretty good defences against two terrible on-the-day quarterbacks. And it's one, three almost flat as the Bills. Yeah. Because they didn't have any offence whatsoever. And the main difference was that Blake Bortles ran.
Yeah, 88 yards on the day.
He ran for more than he threw, and he threw it.
87 yards.
He had 23 attempts at throwing and got 87 yards and ran 10 times at 88, which is just ridiculous. And that was the difference in the game. Bortles running to keep the drives alive was it, because Fournette I don't think looks healthy. He looks really slow. 57 off 21 just isn't what you're after from him. What I would say, after being dog awful, Bortles' throwing was atrocious in this game. His mechanics looked shot. Every time he threw into the wind, he was throwing eggs and ducks. That touchdown throw was a good throw. Yeah. It's a good call. It's a brave call. It's a stupid call. I thought, what if?
Not at all.
No, I thought, my point was, why are you giving Blake Bortles, who hasn't threw anything all day, on 4th and 1, the chance when you've got Leonard Fournette? But fair play, it worked. It was a good throw, good catch, and that's the game.
It's the perfect call though, isn't it? You've got a problem with the guy who's throwing the ball rather than the call. The call's perfect.
It's a good call because you expect him to run, so throw it. I didn't think he could make that pass.
That's not the call. That's the fucking player that you don't trust, isn't it? Yeah. So I understand that. Like, I thought the call was perfect. Like, okay, Jags defense. I mean, we've talked about it so often this season. You can't get behind the chains on this Jags defense because they are going to come after you.
Campbell, Ramsey, Jackson, Jack, Bouye, and Gochway. List goes on. Gibson, Smith. It's amazing. And like I say, I think Jalen Ramsey's the best cornerback in the league. That play at the end, I know not many people are talking about it. That's an amazing play. That interception. I mean, Nate Peterman comes in and throws an interception. That's kind of what he does now.
Standard.
It's his thing. But to be fair, he moved the offense a little bit. He moved it, but he looked in his one throw. Choice. In his one throw, he done more than Tyrell Taylor. Looked like he was doing, but. That's a great play by Ramsey. I do think he's the best cornerback in the
league. He's got 3 throws and thrown 1 interception, 1 completion, 1 incomplete.
It's what he does.
That's probably pretty good for him. You know what I mean? Wasn't it like his first fucking 5?
Yeah, no, 5. He was 5 for 9 on interceptions to throws.
Now he's got at least a third.
You see,
33% completion.
His ratio is coming down a bit.
I don't know whether he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he could be. You never know.
If he is, it's going to be the best story I've ever seen. They're going to show this one for days. You can't run on them, you can't pass on them. They were double teaming Calais Campbell and he was knocking two fellas on the floor.
Made that one where he just splits them and he just goes, bye-bye. And just two fellas just go, oh.
Malik Jackson's, people forget about Malik Jackson, how good he was 2 years ago, and he's getting sacks. And then I personally think they've got the best two cornerbacks in the league. I think Ramsey's one and Boye's two. I think they're both that, or they're at least in that conversation, they're both incredible. And when it's, Thompson and O'Leary and Jones trying to get open, no chance. Absolutely no chance. Big test when they go to the Steelers, but that's a bigger test for them. But that defense is that's what you've got to carry.
It's scary, and here's the thing with the Jaguars. We'll talk about it on the next show and stuff. But that defense, man, they can win a championship. They are that damn good. Like,
if your quarterback just doesn't.
You are not going to want to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is absolutely insane. We'll move on anyway because it was a shit game and I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
That's fine.
So we'll move on to the Panthers 26, Saints 31. New Orleans Saints favoured in this game. Panthers. They've been fucking so up and down this season, like, and feels to me like they're just wasting Cam Newton. They're just pissing around with the best years of his career at the moment.
When you run their offense with the Cam Newton style offense, you're gonna struggle in the red zone because he's got no touch. Your best red zone option is running him, but that only works for so long and stuff. But when you get inside the opponent's half, anywhere from the 30 onwards, it becomes difficult for him because he'll want to bomb a pass or he'll want to run. And it's no coincidence that if field goal 27 yards, field goal 39 yards, field goal 58 yards at the end of the quarter, field goal 29 yards, that's what happens because he hasn't got his Kelvin Benjamin big body receiver. Devin Funchess is injured. He's playing on one arm. And then that's it. It's Cam and Christian McCaffrey against Hughes. And that was the issue, is that they moved the ball pretty well, but so Saints touchdown, Panthers field goal, Saints touchdown, Panthers field goal, Saints touchdown, Panthers field goal. There's the game right there.
That's like going behind the chains every first down.
Basically, they're scoring sevens while you're scoring threes, and you're both moving the ball as well as each other, but they're getting 4 more points every single time, and there's your gap. And by then, they go field goal again, and you're just too far behind. And they pull a cut, they look good on the comeback, and they've got a chance at the end of the game to win. But you're on the road with a big deficit. That's tough because that's when Cameron Jordan can pin his ear back and come after you, and he was outstanding. And that was the difference in the game. Early on, it looked like it could have been like a bit of a shootout, in terms of it could be touchdown, but they had to keep kicking threes. They missed one of those as well. They missed one of those field goals. And ultimately, I thought that's what killed them, the red zone.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought the Panthers did really well with Kamara. I think they kept it for around 40 yards. I thought they were very good at that. The problem is
by doing that,
you've unleashed Drew Brees, who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. A guy who's probably played inside himself like never before this season. He's probably fresher than he's ever been before, and who can see the field better. And I take great care in my words here. He sees the field better than Luke Kuechly, and there ain't many players that see the field better than Luke Kuechly. Yeah. There was one particular one where Kuechly was spying the running back out the backfield. I think it was Kamara, and he just completely got it wrong, and he took a step in, and Brees saw it and fucking rinsed him, and he did it so often.
Even on Zach Line, who I didn't know much about him, even on his touchdown, they get Luke Kuechly to bite and then just give it to the fullback or whatever. You got Ingram, Kamara, Zach Line run the 1 yard touchdown. It was very clever. It was almost a pick your poison because Kamara, especially, had run all over Carolina twice. They had to stop. I understand. Yeah. You have to try and stop him because you can't let him do it again. Do it 3 times and you're an idiot. You're a bad coach. So you load up to stop that. But then there's the Hall of Fame quarterback throwing 131 yards to Michael Thomas and 115 yards to Ted Ginn. Because you can't do both. What are you meant to do? Unless one team I think could cope maybe in this whole, your team and Jacksonville. They're the two I think you'd have a chance because you've got an elite front seven and very, very good corners as well. Panthers haven't got very good corners. The corners are okay. The front seven's that's the strength of that team. So they just said, you know what, we're going to make Drew Brees beat us. And Drew Brees said, fine, I'll beat you. And he battered them. It was the best game he's played all season. It was one of his best games. He had
like a 2 touchdown, 1 interception game, but he was super.
That's all he needed to do. He kept the ball moving. He was incredible. He looked like vintage Drew Brees, and that's the thing with this team is that they're likely, if they go however far they go, it's probably all going to be indoors, which is going to be a massive, massive boost to them. They are looking really, really scary. We're going to come on to the Vikings game in the next show, but they look a really, really good team. And I thought they deserved this win. I thought if Carolina would have come back and stole it would have been a bit unfair. And Peyton goes for it on 4th and 2. Big call. I thought wrong call. I thought he should have kicked it. And then the Panthers guy why is he catching that? Just knock it to the floor. It does my head in that. When people catch interceptions on 4th down, it wrecks my head. Catches it, and then Cam Jordan I think he gets 3 hits on that drive and ends the game for them. Better team won, I think.
Yeah, I think I fully...
Can I ask you something? What did you make of the whole Cam Newton concussion, non-concussion issue?
I think the Carolina Panthers will have a rather large fine for that one, if I'm perfectly honest.
They tried to say he had a sore eye, didn't he? He wasn't concussed.
Yeah, they also mentioned that it was something to do with he was taking his time off the field for some other reason. I can't remember. They said
his goggle got stuck in his face.
Which I can believe.
But he was concussed.
He was absolutely... You know why I know? His eyes went like this.
Yeah. So if people, again, I imagine everyone knows, but he takes a hit, he's walking off, he crouches to his knee, and the rule says if you've got signs of concussion, you have to go and get checked in the locker room before you come back out, and they checked him in the tent, and he was out, and Derek
you know what it was, they said? It was so that the backup, what's the backup? Derek Anderson could get some more reps. That's why he went down on the field. That's what the official line from Ron Rivera was.
Trying to slow the game down.
Trying to slow the game down so he can get his arm warmed up, which is bullshit, by the way.
I had something in my eye.
Here's the thing, this whole concussion stuff could take the NFL down anyway without this. Yeah. It's one of the biggest things in sport at the moment. You know, did you see that? They've looked at 110 dead bodies of American football players, if you've seen it, and every single one of them had it. CTE, and you're thinking to yourself, this could bring the game down regardless. You don't need more focus on that.
Star players.
And here's the thing, it's why I don't like the Patriots, because of Spygate, because of Deflategate and all that type of stuff. It's that I will do absolutely fucking anything to win. And it's a grey area. I'm sorry, cheating's fucking cheating, and if you're cheating in professional sport, you shouldn't be able to. The rules are that guy has to go out of the game, and the rules are that he has to go there. Whether you that shouldn't be, this is the thing, they shouldn't be club doctors. No. They never should have been, because this is how you get into players getting injections to play through pain.
There's meant to be an independent person. The referee can show you that field, but I just don't, once you're in the concussion protocol, I don't understand how you can do that in a tent on a sideline. How can a doctor in that environment, that tent isn't fucking noise proof. So you've got this 60,000 Saints fans buying for blood or whatever. I find it odd, and I think you're right, we're probably going to hear more of it. Now again, he looked fine to be fair, on that last drive, he looked fine. But he might have had a concussion. We don't know, and I just think it's a playoff game, and it's a really scary one. There's a rule there for a reason. He should have followed it.
Here's what should happen, and here's what won't happen. Ron Rivera should get a ban, right, for being the head coach and putting him back in and not following that. The medical staff should never be allowed to work in the NFL again, because you're endangering people's fucking lives.
Yeah,
and they should get the biggest fine the NFL's ever seen.
I think Russell Wilson, the Seattle got 100 grand in there. That's piss in the ocean. There needs to be a few more serious.
Take the salary cap down by 10 million for 5 years, and that'll fucking do something. Do something. Do you know what I
mean? They need to look after these players better. Because players won't look after themselves. You need to do it for them.
So there you go. That's been the Wildcard review show. Let us know if you've enjoyed the show. Of course, don't forget to leave your comments in the comments section, like the video, and subscribe to us on YouTube.